I want to have employee-owned companies. That's one of the things that I want to do, that I believe in. And it sounds simple, but like it's definitely psychologically, I think it's a lot more complicated than I thought. And so I'm thinking about it as a long-term thing. It's not a thing right now, but I think that things got a lot more simplified once we were reminded to try to stem any of these kinds of big decisions from the core values. So for simplicity, our core values are, well, one of them is
Simplicity.
simplicity. Yeah. Number one is effort. Effort's the number one core value of the company. Then you have honesty and empathy, which is now transparency and empathy. And then the last one, which is really like the how of it, how to execute on those three core values, is simplicity. So those are the four core values at the company. And so when we were listening to different strategies for how to do it, as far as how to do a long term sort of revenue share structure, a lot of things were being pulled from traditional projects. So we had some research on Broadway shows or independent films or you name it. And what ended up coming out of that were these different types of point structures based on what role you played in it, how much work you did on it, what
And they can
activities were
get
you doing on
super
it.
granular. You
Yes.
gotta, like, track every single thing for every single person, which is specific.
Yes, exactly. And then not many of the things we looked at tackled companies that handled like multiple projects, but and their
Mm.
suggestion was, oh, just do the project to project thing, which again, when you bring it against the core values, then you're saying like, oh, but that means that we're then putting a hard marker on someone's level of effort. Like, because this one did better, you must have worked harder on it, which, as we all know, that's not always the
How it
case,
works.
especially with creative work. Yeah. And
Mhm.
so this idea of giving points distributed based on the project or based on the payout of a project or based on the task done on a project ended up creating incentives that I never want, which is like, well, if this is the job that gets the most points on the project, that's the job that I want to go for. Instead of like that's the job that I want or am passionate about. Or the people that are doing the not fun stuff, right?
Like
Get
calling the state.
yes, exactly. Don't get rewarded, which I think is always backwards. Those are the people that should get rewarded the most to help incentivize people to do it, right?
Mm.
What we're currently looking at is essentially just like a loyalty based point structure, like a partner. Ironically, it's a creative company that is kind of going to be structured more like a law firm. So basically, let's just assume we're giving away 25% of the profit of the company. It's essentially just going to get divvied up to all of the partners, and that's simply going to be a loyalty program. So you're at the company, and let's say the program kicks in after 2 years, and then essentially after 2 years, you start gaining, I don't know, a quarter of a percent each year or something like that, up into a max of 2% or something like that. It incentivizes a few things. One, it says we're going to give you a piece of the pie up front, though, like pretty soon, right? So like this is a company where that's going to be a part of it. So after your first year or something, you're gonna get something, but as the longer you stay with us, the more you will get.